What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my God, this community does not frickin' stop. No matter how many times we try to explain why this specific thing is a bad for the overall game, I don't know how, but we just keep finding more ways. Well, not we, but I should kind of point out the COD community. The COD community keeps finding ways to try to implement this into XDefiant, and I know, I've made a couple of videos about this in the past, but guys, we have to go back at it one last time because this is just getting out of freaking control. But, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. Mostly XDefiant right now because I gotta be honest, I've been really enjoying this game a ton. But, of course, don't forget, we do still, dabble in Modern Warfare 3. Sledgehammer isn't doing that bad of a job when it comes to that game. It's mostly just the matchmaking that weighs it down. So, when it comes to that, I'll probably still discuss that. But if you guys are interested in any of that type of content, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. And if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I'm going to be live today over on Twitch. That stream probably will go live between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be grinding out some XDefiant because I think it's double XP weekend again for the weapons. So, of course, if you guys want to tune in, say hello, see how the vibes are going, or even hop into the open lobbies that we host there every single day, like I said, you can find the link to that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we already went ahead and discussed this before, but streaks don't need to be implemented into XDefiant whatsoever. It will literally kill the overall vibes. And I thought we made that extremely clear. I feel like we did do a really good job at explaining this and, making it real that XDefiant isn't Call of Duty. And at the end of the day, it's going to be its own thing. And it has a huge hero shooter aspect to it, where it's a lot of team play. And if you add streaks, it's going to kill that overall vibe. But apparently that's not enough, because we're back at it and we're pushing it a little bit further. As you can see right here, hear me out. What about support kill streaks in XDefiant? Non-lethal streaks that can be beneficial, but also giving individualistic goals for the player, rather than just winning the game. Could be UAVs, counter UAVs, etc., and make them high kill streaks so it's not OP. I get the point, making it extremely high and, all that other stuff and having it as support streaks, UAVs, counters, and stuff of that sort. But again, I don't know how many times we have to say it. We don't need streaks in XDefiant. Nothing, even support streaks, things that aren't assault streaks, none of it needs to be in XDefiant. First and foremost, we already have the abilities. And luckily, Mark Rubin the GOAT came out and actually responded to this tweet with some really good information, saying, the Ultra is technically a support score streak. Might be a misconception that it levels automatically over time, but it is based on your performance. But to Apollo Mission suggestion, I hear where he's coming from. I think what he is really pointing out is that there isn't enough of a reward for getting streaks, and I agree with him. It's something we are discussing, and we'll try to find ways to better reward in-game play. And I'm really hoping that the team isn't folding right now from this message here. It worries me, it really does. At first, he makes a great point by saying that the abilities are basically, the score streaks, and you work up by playing OBJ, using your abilities to help out your teammates, to help you, getting kills, and you get those abilities faster. But then right after, he follows up with saying that they're behind the scenes saying they're trying to find ways to reward players for streaking. And again, there can be ways. Maybe camos and calling cards and cool things that can show that you have gone on crazy streaks in this game. But I really, really don't want to see anything related to the toxic garbage that I have to deal with in Call of Duty on a day-to-day basis when when you play that game, compared to anything within XDefiant. I'm perfectly content with how XDefiant is right now. I mean, let me just tell you about it. Literally, I hop back into Modern Warfare 3, and every single game, it's the same experience. You hop into 10v10 or shoot, even go into 6v6. It's literally nothing but a bunch of people probably stacked up, baiting people out to the OBJ, because who plays OBJ in COD, right? It's no point. You might as well just bait the poor suckers who actually want to play the objective in the game. So they sit there all game, they bait them out, they get, this is all you hear, advanced UAV, enemy advanced UAV, enemy advanced UAV in the sky. It's like, again and again and again with chopper gunner, again and again and again. And, you know, I'm vibing. I'm still doing good. I'm pretty decently positive, holding close to a 2 KD. I got a bunch of OBJ score. But nothing is more obnoxious than having to sit in the back of the map and waiting for all the streaks to go down. And, you know, and this is from a solo player's perspective as well. I'm not talking about playing with a full squad. Just straight up solo play right now. It's a nightmare. It's a freaking nightmare. It is. And then at the end of the game, they hop on the OBJ just a little bit so they can have some OBJ score to, you know, flaunt off and, you know, say, oh, look what we did, play a little OBJ. When in reality, they literally sat there the whole game. Trust me, I'm a pub stomper. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I'm going to tell you exactly what they do, and that's what they do. If you squad up with a full lobby of pub stompers, it is common practice to literally let the suckers go out, bait them out, take those bodies, streak up like no tomorrow, and then when you have 50,000 streaks in the sky, then you can probably, you know, change the tides of the battle, right? But that's COD. That's how COD plays. And honestly, again, it's not bad, because that's what we play Call of Duty for. That's the fun factor of it, the streaks. But XDefiant is different. And I don't want people like that at the top of the leaderboards. I didn't even mention that. Guess who was at the top of the leaderboards in those games? Not the ones playing OBJ. You know, not all the poor suckers is what I guess everybody in the COD community calls them. The people flying out on OBJ trying to actually win the game. You know, they weren't even close to the top of the leaderboards. It was only people like in a hardpoint match. They might have 5 seconds, 10 seconds on the OBJ, but they have, you know, freaking 50, 60, 70, 80 kills from all the streaks that they're getting from baiting people out on it. Or domination, absolutely 0 caps, but they're just out on the outskirts holding some really awkward, you know, spawn traps. But again, can you blame them? No, because the game rewards you for doing that. The game gives you more points for streaking up, getting insane feeds, and tearing up lobbies, and then hopping on the OBJ just a little bit. The only time you really see COD players really go in when it comes to OBJ is on the rare occurrence in, you know, a pub match, or again, in actual competitive play. But casual play in XDefiant is just so fun, and it feels so rewarding because that's not the mentality. And if streaks were to be introduced into XDefiant, no matter what type of streaks, score streaks, assault streaks, a simple little UAV, it doesn't matter. If you get rewarded in some massive way that can turn the tides of the battle in some type of way for going on a streak, people will gladly focus on playing more defense on their life than actually using their abilities and pushing up to the objective to help play for the win. And we don't want this. I'm sorry to say, but we don't. I mean, honestly, TGD put out a fantastic post, bro. A fantastic post on Twitter, a little response here. So simple, you know, small, simple, yet it speaks in many ways. I like XDefiant because it isn't COD. I'd prefer they keep it that way. Exactly. I don't mind that it shares some Call of Duty, you know, ideas, because I'm a COD player. So yeah, I want something in it to feel a little like COD, but I don't want it to be COD, right? And I feel like that's what the mass majority of people out here want out of XDefiant. I do. You know, even though we still have a lot of people screaming for the streaks, I still think there's a good portion of people out there, the core audience, that just wants XDefiant to stay in its own lane and to be its own game. Because if you really think about it, if XDefiant tries to literally be a Call of Duty clone, it's gonna fail. It can't. Nothing can beat COD besides Call of Duty. It's good competition, and that's what you want, because competition will make maybe Call of Duty step up its game, and that's fantastic for Call of Duty fans. Who knows, maybe sometime down the road, they might tone down the skill-based matchmaking if XDefiant can actually make that big of a, you know, impact. We have no clue what the future holds with competition, but the removal of COD, not a chance. And if they mimicked everything about Call of Duty, and then the next Call of Duty game drops, guess what? If every person who's playing XDefiant wants to play it because they want a Call of Duty game, they're going to go back over to Black Ops 6 because that's COD. XDefiant isn't. Even if they're trying to make it COD, it isn't COD, and the people will leave. X-Defiant has to have its own identity, because if it doesn't, whoever it's trying to be is going to take it over once another game drops. So when BO6 drops, X-Defiant will still have a player base. It will still have people playing, because people want to play X-Defiant for X-Defiant, not because it's Call of Duty. So please stop trying to make X-Defiant exactly like Call of Duty. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys are interested in more content, I pretty much stream daily besides Sundays over on Twitch. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.